Hi guys, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today I am going to sit down with you guys and do a little bit of a Q&A. I actually meant to do this Q&A on Instagram, but once my story expired after 24 hours, I kind of forgot to answer the question. So I thought that I might as well take this opportunity to film a Q&A here on YouTube because I screenshotted all of the questions. So yeah, I think it would be nice to catch up with you guys and answer some of your questions. So let's get into it. Okay, let's start out with a non-fragrance related question. The first question is, who is your celebrity crush? I love your videos. Thank you so much. And actually, it's so funny. I was just having this conversation with Pierre like 2 nights ago about celebrity crushes. And mine for sure is Theo James. Theo James to me is one of the best looking guys on the planet. I'm sorry, Pierre, but honestly, there is something about Theo James. For me, he is like the perfect balance of being hot, masculine, but still really handsome, but not too much where he looks like really pretty. Like, you know, some actors and like celebrities, the guys have this really like pretty boy look about them. And I personally am not really attracted to that. I like a man who looks super masculine and like sexy, but in like a masculine way. And for me, Theo James is the perfect balance of handsome, masculine, and very, very just good looking. So he would for sure be my #1 celebrity crush. And recently I keep getting stuck on TikTok videos of, is it Cillian Murphy? I don't know how to pronounce his name actually, which is terrible because I've watched quite a lot of movies and series with him in, but there's something about his face that, okay, if you look at him like objectively, he's not that good looking, but when you see him like in action and he's acting, wow, like he has something about him that is just so good looking. So I would say Theo James #1. Cillian Murphy is pretty good looking as well. Like he has something very charming about his face. And also, I would say that that's probably it. Those are probably like my 2 celebrity crushes. And girl celebrity crushes, because yes, I have girl celebrity crushes. For me, 100% it's Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie, for me personally, is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And she is just absolute perfection. If I could trade places with anyone just for a day, not in life, but just for a day, it would be Angelina Jolie, because I think she is the most beautiful woman in the world. I don't know if you guys want me to answer like some fragrance related questions in this Q&A. I think I'm going to like just throw a few in there, here and there. Somebody was like, hi Demi, would you still recommend getting Oud for Greatness from Initio? Yes, I would still really recommend it. For me, it still has a hold over me, even though I've owned the fragrance and worn it for many years now. I still really love the way that it smells. Like when I open the cap and smell it, there is something truly intoxicating about Oud for Greatness, even though there is no oud inside of that scent. And that's something that I could speak about in this video, is that you guys have to know, because I want you to know. Maybe some of you already do, maybe some of you don't, but most oud marketed fragrances on the market today don't contain any real oud. First of all, because of sustainability, but second of all, it's super expensive. And third of all, most people, and I'm saying this really honestly right now, would not even like the scent of real oud. There is no secret that a brand can slap on the word oud on the bottle and raise the price by like $150 to $200, even though it's not containing any real oud. Oud is kind of this facade in the industry, I feel. And yes, most people, I'm not speaking for everyone here, I'm just saying, in my opinion, anyone that I've shown like a fragrance that contains real oud inside of it, and I've shown that person the fragrance, they all like turn their nose up and are like, oh, that's horrible, like that's absolutely disgusting. So for me, I love oud and I think it has a beauty about it for sure, but it's definitely not for everyone. Besides perfume, do you have another hobby? Yes, I actually have just recently, in the last year or so, started reading. And guys, I am enjoying it so much. Like I am actually on book talk. Like I know there is perfume talk, there is a lot of different talks, but I am also on book talk. Like I love to watch all the different types of content creators talking about books. Like it makes me so happy. I will say though, I am more into reading as a form of escapism. So for me at this point in my life, because I'm still fairly new to like reading, I like books that have like a story, that have a plot, that have something going on. I have not really gotten into like literary fiction and I don't know, like that sort of vibe of reading. I haven't really gotten into that yet, or even like self-help books, self-development books. I haven't gotten into that side of reading yet. Now I would say that my favorite genre is thrillers. Like I really, really love a good thriller book. But I also do like a little bit of romance, a bit of dark romance. I do kind of like that one as well. Not to the point where it's like my reading is only restricted to those genres. I am open to reading a lot more. Like I have a lot of books that I bought that are historical fiction, etc., that I would like to attempt to read. But I'm just worried that if I read something that I don't like, then it will kind of stop me from wanting to continue reading. Do you know what I mean? And another hobby that I recently got into that I am obsessed with, like I love it so much, is acting. I just started taking some private sessions of acting, not because I want to be some famous actress or anything, and that's not even possible, but just because it was always something that I wanted to do. Ever since I was younger, I always wanted to do acting. Obviously, as a lot of you guys might know, I danced my entire life, so it didn't really leave much room for me to explore any other hobbies / interests of mine. So I only really exclusively danced my entire life, which I loved. And I think I will also go back into some form of dancing. Don't come for me, but I think I want to start pole. And if you guys like pole dancing, if you know what I mean, but not because, once again, not because I want to be anything, you know, like a pole dancer or something like that, but I just have this feeling that I will really enjoy it. And I would like to restart dancing in a way that it feels very different from what I did in my past. My past was very, with dancing, it was very strict. There was a lot of discipline involved. There was a lot of traumatic things involved with the dancing that I did as a younger person. And so I would like to just try dancing, but in a totally different light. So that's why I would like to try pole, because I know a couple of people that do it and they tell me that it is so much fun. It strengthens your body, especially your core. It helps your flexibility. It makes you feel empowered and sexy in a way. So those are all things that I'm really interested to do. So I would like to start that. And then, yeah, I'm really, really enjoying my acting sessions. I've only done about 5 sessions so far, but I really want to continue and see how it goes because I'm really, really enjoying it. I feel already like I just have this really good feeling about it. So yeah, that's what I've started recently. And I would like to explore more hobbies, but I don't know if you guys feel the same as me, but I feel like in your 20s or even your 30s or 40s or 50s, I think it applies for the same for everyone kind of. It's really hard to start new hobbies when you're a little bit older because it's really intimidating. Like for me personally, it's very intimidating to start something new. Like the acting thing, I wanted to do it for years and I just never took the plunge. I even kept putting off the sessions with the acting coach that I'm working with. I kept on being like, oh, you know, like I just couldn't, I just stopped. I just kept on telling myself like, no, this is stupid. You know, like it's not, you're not going to be good at it. Like just stop it. But what I realized is that it is really important in your older years. I know I'm only 26, so I don't mean I'm old, but like in your above teenage years, I guess you could say, to push yourself to actually start some new hobbies because it's really good for your confidence, for your development, for everything. So that's what I have started. And I'm kind of interested to try horse riding as well. I feel like horse riding is, I don't know, like there is something very beautiful about it and I would like to try it. So if any of you out there do horse riding, let me know if it's something worth like pursuing, if it's fun, I don't know, if it's like a nice hobby to have. And I think that that's probably it for my hobbies. Like I want to start the dancing, the pole, and maybe horse riding. We'll see. But once again, all of these hobbies are pretty expensive as well. So I have to see about that as well. What book are you reading? That's a good follow-up question. So currently I am reading, I forgot the title of it actually, but I have read a bunch of books recently that I absolutely loved. The standout for me this year was a very dark book called My Dark Vanessa. It was extremely dark, so I really recommend, if you were interested to read this book and take the recommendation, please, 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 please look up any sort of trigger warnings or anything like that, because the book was very heavy. It was about a teacher-student relationship. The girl, I think she's 14 in the book, and the teacher's in his 30s or 40s, I forgot now. But it was absolutely incredible. I still think about the book to this day, and it felt very realistic. Like, a lot of teacher-student books feel very, I don't know, like kind of, I don't know, like just, they don't feel real. It feels kind of like a role play. This book felt extremely real, and it kind of conjures up all of the emotions inside of you, like sadness, hatred, like you feel empathy, you feel everything in this book. Like, you really go through the emotions with the characters. Like, I know that sounds a bit cheesy, but it's true. This book really made me feel so much, and I thought about it so much after I read it. Like, even now I still think about this book from time to time, and I read it about 2 months ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. It's kind of about grooming and how that kind of escalated into this really inappropriate relationship between this student and the teacher. And I really recommend it if it is okay with you and those are not things that trigger you inside. Be very careful with books like that, because it probably can bring up a lot of feelings and stuff. But for me, guys, that was really one of the best books I read. It's called My Dark Vanessa. I loved it so much. It's probably one of the only books in my little book collection that I have considered rereading it at some point. I know, because it was quite heavy. You might think, like, why would you want to read that again? But I just loved the way it was written. I loved the entire book. It was just phenomenal. So for me, that was a really good one. And a thriller, I'm trying to think of a thriller recommendation that I can give you guys. I read so many thrillers recently. I read The Push by Ashley Audrain, which was fantastic. It was like a psychological thriller. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter was fantastic. That was also extremely graphic, extremely brutal, very, very, very tough, like, to get through that book. A lot of people think it's one of the most disturbing books ever. I don't think it is, but it was very intense. Like, it took me a little bit of time to get into it, but once I was in it, I was fully in it, and I could not stop reading it. Like, once I got past the point of like the kind of the beginning of the book, I finished that stuff in like 2 days. So it was an incredible, incredible read, an incredible thriller that like shocked me to my core. It was really horrendous. But once again, look up triggers if you're considering reading that one, because it was, yeah, very brutal. That's the word that I would use to describe it. It was brutal. Some of the scenes that they described was very brutal. Best perfume for a night out. For me, I usually wear the same type of scents for a night out. It's either usually Silky Woods by Goldfield and Banks. I'm talking night out where you want like something a little bit smutty, if you know what I'm saying. Like something a little bit like, you know, it has a bit of an edge to it. I will usually wear Silky Woods, Nest from Nichane, I'm trying to think. Duchessa from Gritty, that's also a really good one. I like something that feels very sexy and very alluring on a night out. If it's like a more classy night out, I might go for something like Oud Sudden Mood from MFK. Things like maybe with a little bit more of like a sophistication to them. But if I want like that night out, like smutty, like I'm ready to get down, I will wear something like Duchessa, Silky Woods, or Neps from Nichane. Those are the type of scents that I like. If you live in Canada, where can you purchase Minuit Demi? So Minuit Demi is actually available on Twisted Lily. They are one of the official verified retailers for Fragrance du Bois, I think. I'm pretty sure. They're for sure verified. Twisted Lily is one of my favorite companies to work with. They don't pay me like directly to promote them or anything, but I do have like a little code if you ever want to use that, guys. It's just Demi10 and you can get 10% off the entire website. And we actually work with them through Sniff. So we love working with them. They're honestly some of the best people, most organized, most professional, most fantastic people I've ever worked with in the industry. And I mean that hand on my heart. So if you guys are ever having doubts of where to order fragrances from, please, if you're in North America, Twisted Lily is the way to go. I think that they ship to Canada. Like, I think they have free shipping to Canada. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they do. I think that they're covering all of North America. Favorite release so far of 2024? Oh my gosh, that is the most difficult question. I don't know. I would say a standout for me was definitely Elop from Soradora. I'm not sure if I would say it was my absolute favorite release of the year, but it is up there in my maybe top 5. I also really loved Love Delight from Amouage. I'm trying to look at my collection as I'm speaking to you guys. I'll have to think about it and come back to you guys, but those were like 2 that stand out to me as really good releases for the year. I got a lot of people asking me when my new fragrance collaboration is coming out. Now, I have a lot to say about this. So, as you guys know, I launched Minuit Demi around 2020. I think we did the pre-order in 2020. So it's been a long time since I released a collaboration, and I'm talking to you guys really, really openly and honestly right now. I received over the years so many proposals to do a collaboration, to do exactly what I did with Fragrance du Bois, but do it with X brand. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to gas myself up or anything, but I cannot tell you guys, and I wish I could, but it doesn't feel right to say brands, but I had so many opportunities to work with really good brands on a fragrance collaboration. But the reason that I haven't launched anything yet is because I have very strong morals about how the collaboration works. First of all, I have to be front and center of this collaboration. I have to be able to be involved 100% of the time. There is no way that a brand or fragrance house is going to email me or send me 5 samples and I'm going to pick one and be like, okay, maybe just a dash more vanilla and that's it. No, no, no. And I know that that is how most collaborations work these days because it's a business now. These collaborations that you're seeing with brands times fragrance reviewers, they're a business in itself, actually. They are usually very, very successful for the brand and for the reviewer. So for most people, it is a business, and I'm not shaming any other content creator. I support every one of my peers because we're all doing the same thing. So this has nothing to do with them. It's more talking about the brand and the fragrance house, etc. But collaborations, for me, I have to be there 100% of the way. I'm not going to sign off my name onto a fragrance that I have nothing to do with. I would rather not release anything for the rest of my life if it means that I cannot be in control of what the product is going to be, if that makes any sense. So for me, that's why it's taken me so long. And also, a lot of the brands that approached me to do a collaboration, although they were beautiful brands, most of them are all brands that you guys know, all brands that a lot of people love. But for me, it has to make sense. It has to make sense with you guys and for me. It has to be a brand that you guys know how much I love. You guys know how much I support and love the brand. Otherwise, what is the point of putting my name on something that I don't even really talk about this brand? Like, it just doesn't make any sense in my mind. And you would be surprised how many people would say yes to those collaborations because there is money involved in these collaborations. There is a lot of exposure and a lot of benefits of doing a collaboration. And for me, and once again, I'm not trying to put myself here and put everyone down here. It's not about that at all. I'm just trying to tell you guys and explain why it's taken me so long, because finding the right brand, finding the right way to work together, and finding like an even kind of field of working has been really difficult. So for me, that's why it's taken so long. I am not going to rush this collaboration because for me, the next collaboration that I'm working on now, it's almost more important than my first one. And I'm going on a bit of a rant right now, but Minuit Demi, I kind of went into this like very naive and excited and kind of like, I didn't know as much about the fragrance industry when I worked on Minuit Demi. I had my rose-colored glasses on quite a lot. Kind of went with my idea that I believed in 100%. I always get asked actually from people, and I'm not going to go into it in this video because I don't want to talk about that so much right now, but a lot of people assume that I didn't do anything to do with Minuit Demi, and I didn't do the creation and fragrance were handed me something. Not at all. That's not how it works at all. I have pictures, I have evidence of the entire process of Minuit Demi. I made a brief, I submitted it to 2 different fragrance houses. One of those fragrance houses actually reached out to work with me, which was incredible because it's one of the biggest fragrance houses. And I ended up going with Symrise, as you guys know, and I reworked the juice for about 7 or 8 months, but in total, the process took like around a year. So it was all from my mind. I came with my brief. I knew exactly what I wanted. And I was so confident in the fragrance. Like I was so confident. I was so excited. Like I said, rose-colored glasses. But now I have so much more pressure, not from you guys, but on myself. Like I'm putting so much pressure on myself because I am so sick of brands and the fragrance industry just releasing nice perfumes. Can somebody do something incredible? The access that a lot of these brands have, I'm like surprised that more brands don't take risks and explore new territories, new directions, and do something magnificent. And that's essentially what I'm trying to say. I want this next collaboration to be amazing, to be unique, not too unique to the point where most of you guys wouldn't like it, but I want it to be something special, maybe a territory that isn't usually explored in perfumery. I really want to try something bold, and I want the fragrance to be just phenomenal. So that's why it's taking so long. That's the long story, basically. Favorite designer perfume for summer? That is a great question, and funny that you asked me that because just last night I was shopping for Pierre's birthday and I balled out, actually, you guys. Sometimes it happens to me. I don't know if it happens to you guys. I'm usually very responsible with my money up until I come to like a point where I put the effort button, I press it, and I just splurge. And I splurged on a bunch of stuff for Pierre yesterday. And while I was splurging, I went to Yves Saint Laurent. I went to the counter with no intentions of buying anything, and I bought 2 from the private collection. I bought Capeline or Capeline. The sales associate said Capeline, but if it's a French brand, I think it would be Capeline. I don't know. But the fragrance is perfect for the summertime, you guys. It is gorgeous. It's like this beautiful, slightly salty, creamy, vanillic lily fragrance. So it has this beautiful floral essence to it, but it's really smooth, creamy. You have a slight saltiness, a slight freshness. You have some vanilla in there. It is absolutely perfection. It smells like rich girl summer vibes, like Italian summer in Sicily vibes. It is just incredible. So I am obsessed with that now. It's probably, I would love to take it on vacation with me, but the problem is the bottle is so big. So maybe I'll have to decant it, but that is now my go-to summer scent right now because I love it so much. Did you quit smoking? Well, I don't know how to talk about this subject. I know a lot of you guys are going to be really disappointed in me. Basically, I talked about it, I think I talked about it on my Instagram, but I was smoking IQOS. IQOS is very big in the Middle East and Europe. And I have been smoking IQOS for about 3-4 years. And I quit last year. I quit last year in around October, November of last year. And I stopped for about 5 months. So I quit. I successfully quit. The first couple of days after quitting were horrendous. Like, not to the point where like I felt like I was going to die or something like that. Not that bad. But I felt very disassociated from my own body. It was a really, really weird experience that I didn't expect. I expected the agitation, the frustration, the kind of angst that you feel after not having nicotine for a while, but I was not expecting to feel this like weird disassociation from my own body and my own self. Like that was very, very strange. And I actually checked on like different threads if that was like normal, if that was something that people experience. And apparently some people do experience that, like this weird feeling that life is kind of going and you're just like very disassociative from everything. So I felt like that for a couple of days and then it passed. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, in those 5 months that I stopped smoking, I still kind of wanted to smoke, if you know what I mean. Like I did still want to have the nicotine, but not to the point where I thought about it consciously every single day. But there was moments during those 5 months that I kind of missed it and I wanted to go back and I wanted to do it. And then I was like, no, I've come so far. No freaking way. No freaking way. And unfortunately, after we moved house with all the stress and everything, I'm not blaming it on that, but I do feel like that was the kind of push that ended me up where I am right now. So after we moved and I was really stressed, I started to have like 1 a day, then it became 2 a day, and then I tried to stop again, and then it would be like 3 weeks, and then I would have 1, and then I would have 2, and then I would stop for like 1 week, and then I would go back. And now, unfortunately, I am smoking again. So that is my issue. And I'm going to tell you guys something right now, which is crazy to me. I never thought it would be this way. But as you guys know, I stopped drinking alcohol in October of 2022. Alcohol, I always thought it had the biggest pull over me personally. But after not drinking for such a long time, I could not care less about alcohol. And I mean that hand on my heart. I don't like it. I don't ever want to do it again. It doesn't make me feel good. I really believe, and this is like kind of a heated topic, but I'm not at all trying to push my agenda onto anybody else. I do personally believe that there are people that can drink and people that can't drink. And I have fully accepted the fact that I am somebody who cannot drink. Even though there was some times where it would be fine, sometimes where it was great, sometimes where it was absolutely horrendous, terrible, life-threatening, I have come to the point where I believe that I am not a person that can drink alcohol. And I have happily come to that conclusion, and I can sleep peacefully at night knowing that I don't miss it, I don't want it, I don't crave it, I don't need it, nothing. I am really proud of myself, but at the same time, I just feel like the decision was so right for me. And once again, I really feel like it varies person to person. Pierre is somebody who is a social drinker. He will have drinks on the weekend with friends, etc. He's never the sort of person to take it too far, to become aggressive or become crazy or black out or be kind of lose his mind with alcohol. I was. So we're two very, very different people. Pierre, he never wants to stop drinking. He's already kind of told me that, and I've never pushed that on him. I've never even asked him, would you ever stop drinking? But in conversation sometimes he's like, no, me, I love drinking. I never want to not drink. And that is his choice, and that is him. Me, I really think it was the best decision of my life to not drink alcohol. So I'm very content with my decision, and I'm very proud of myself for that. But smoking, coming back to smoking, I don't know why, but I have found giving up nicotine way harder than giving up alcohol. And I always thought it would be the opposite way around. But for me, the nicotine is super addictive. But I know that everybody can quit, and I can quit if I put my mind to it. And yeah, maybe I need your words of encouragement, guys, because it is a struggle over here. And I don't want to smoke. I don't want to be a smoker in my 40s. I don't want to be a smoker my whole life, especially not if I have kids one day. I don't want to be a smoker. If you were not in fragrances, which different collecting passion would you have? That's a great question. Maybe I've not really thought about it in depth so much, but I love consulting. I love sharing my insights of a certain industry with other people. And that's a passion that I came to recently. I know that consulting is a little bit of an aloof job. You don't really know what a consultant does, even though I think it's a fantastic industry and they make great money, etc. I really like consulting. I also really like anything very creative. That is what I thrive in. So I really thrive in a creative space. So I would definitely want to do that. Or maybe something like psychology, which you're talking and helping people a lot. I know that there's a lot more to it, but I also find psychology very, very interesting as well. There's many different things, but I'm really, really grateful for the job that I do have. I am super lucky, I know that, and really privileged. So I have to remind myself that, because what I do and what other fragrance content creators do, I will not speak for them, I would just speak for me, but it's a pretty, I don't want to use the word easy, but it's a really great industry to be in. It's a really great industry to be in. So I am really, really happy where I am right now. But if I had to pick another industry, I'm not really sure. I could say acting, I could say psychology, I could say, like I said, consulting. They're all very different, but I have very many passions in life. Like I have a lot of things that I enjoy, a lot of things that I love. So I'm not really sure. I never really thought about like what I would do if this kind of falls apart. But I know that I would be okay because, like I said, I feel like I have a very resilient character to myself, and that has been proven in my life in the past many, many, many times. If I fall down, I will get back up. Maybe it will take me some time, but I will get back up for sure. When are you and Pierre gonna tie the knots? I feel like that's a question you should ask to him, but we speak about it all the time. That's why, you know, sometimes when I read the comments in some of my videos, I think it's so funny because somebody commented something about me. What was it? It was like something about my trauma. I can't remember the comment, but it was hilarious, you guys. Like it, and I know that a lot of people believe you shouldn't even reply to haters and stuff, but I kind of had to this one time, and I just said something like, wow, that's brutal, or something like that, because it was just so ironic, the timing of that comment and the time that I posted that video, because literally we were a few hours earlier at lunch with Pierre's parents talking about what we would do for our wedding. So it was just so funny, the comedic timing of that comment. Comments like that don't bother me at all. Pierre and I, we talk about getting married quite a lot, and it's something that we're really comfortable talking to each other about, and it's something that we both really want. So for sure, I think it will be soon, and I cannot wait. Like, I'm really excited to get married. So yeah. Any tips for anyone considering becoming a fragrance reviewer? First of all, I would say that it's really important to learn, but not to the point, like, I don't want you to put pressure on yourself to know everything. That's not what I'm saying. But ordering samples, going to department stores, smelling different things, reading different blogs, or Sniff, for instance. Sniff is really great if you want to learn kind of the basic kind of knowledge about perfumery. Definitely use Sniff, because we have different kind of descriptions for each raw material. You can also see different sort of articles which are talking about different topics of the industry. So I would say, yeah, definitely go on an app like Sniff, or, you know, some Instagram posts, etc., to learn as much as you can alongside smelling a bunch of different samples. Also, I want to mention that it doesn't, like this collection behind me, this took me years to build, and a lot of the fragrances were sent to me. A lot of them were bought with my own money, and this took years, like about 7 years, I would say. So it has been a really, really long time. So don't feel discouraged if you have like 2 fragrances in your collection. It's not about that at all. Get some samples. There is so many different subscription services, websites that offer samples. And that's what I would suggest, to kind of train your nose a little bit to pick up what is bergamot, what is vanilla. Use the apps like Sniff to look at what does bergamot smell like. Bergamot is a bright, very fresh, effervescent citrus note that is usually used in the top notes of a creation, and smell it as you're reading, you know. Try to learn as much as you can. That is what I personally did. And then try to have your own style of reviewing. That's another thing that I would say is really important, because I feel like in the fragrance content creator space, a lot of people copy each other, and that is what happens in every single industry, if I'm being honest. But try to have your own identity. Try to find the fragrances that you really like. That is something as well that I noticed, is that a lot of people don't have their own individual taste in perfumery. They mostly just copy people's taste, buy something off of their recommendation, and then kind of say like, this is my recommendation. But it's, do you know what I'm saying? Like, try to curate what you actually like. That is the most important thing. And for me, like, yeah, I'm not going to go into that too much because it's like a topic on its own, but find the fragrances that resonate with you. Like, what do you like actually? Don't just copy, like, I'm using me as an example. Don't just say Garden Fire Vibrato are the best because I say it's the best. Try to find your own identity and what you really resonate with, because I can guarantee you there will be a huge community of people that resonate with your taste that won't resonate with mine. So that is really, really important. And I think that a lot of people forget that, especially when they're first starting. Like, they just kind of copy the bigger people of what they recommend. which is not going to help you in the long run because you need to develop your own style and your own taste. And what else would I say? Keep consistent as well. Keep consistent and don't get discouraged. It's super easy to get discouraged. When I first started doing YouTube, I was doing makeup tutorials. I'm probably not the best person to say it because I really got discouraged at the beginning of my YouTube journey. I was making makeup videos and they would get 100, 200, 80, 0 views. Like, it was really rough out there for me at the beginning, but I kept on going. Like, I kept on trying, and it sounds super cheesy and it's something that you see a lot of people online say, but really the beauty is in the process and you don't realize it when you're in it, but it really is. Like, I think about my most fond memories of doing this hobby. I shouldn't say hobby anymore, it's a job. So I think about the most like happiness that it brought me. And a lot of those memories are from when I was in the process of building what I have now. So I know that that sounds really that sounds very obvious because of what people talk about online, but it really, really is true. When you're smaller and you're building slowly, the small things, they make you so much happier than what it does now. So yeah, that's what I would say. Do you ever consider going back to Australia? It's a good question. I do sometimes think about it. I miss Australia, like the country. If you've ever been, it is really seriously one of the most beautiful countries on the planet. I would say, I haven't been everywhere, so I'm not going to say that, but the two most beautiful countries for me, it's Australia and France. And I'm not saying France because of Pierre. I have traveled quite a bit around France and it is so, so beautiful and very diverse. France is super diverse. But going back to Australia, for me, I just miss the lifestyle, the ease, the quality of everything. It's so fresh and clean and beautiful, and I do miss Australia, like living there, to be honest with you guys. It would be hard to move that back there and spend some time there because my life now is built in Dubai and I am super happy to be living here. But I can't lie and say that I don't miss it. I definitely do. And yeah, I don't know, like maybe in the future, in like a dream scenario, which I have talked to Pierre about, we could live in Australia for maybe like 3 months of the year or something like that. I would really, really love to consider doing that. But in the future, because that's expensive to live in Australia for 3 months of the year and come back here. Plus we have dogs, we have our life here, our business is red. I don't know how it would work logistically speaking, but I would love to maybe live in Australia a couple of months of the year. It would make me so happy. I miss it a lot. So yeah. What is the best book that you ever read? Guys, maybe I should do like a favorites video and include all of the books that I've recently read, because I'm trying to think of all of the ones that I love, but there is too many. Like if I talked about them, it would be too many. But another book that I loved that was very disturbing is called Saving Noah. This was quite, once again, trigger warnings, very heavy book, very difficult topic to read about. But it was basically about a boy who molested 2 younger girls that he was teaching swimming lessons to. And the book was very, very difficult to read. And there's a plot twist at the end that was insane. I was crying throughout the end of the book. Like, it was very heavy, very emotional stuff. It was really, really difficult to read. And you probably think I'm so weird with my book recommendations, but I like to read. I don't know what that says about me, but I do like very dark. I like to read about darker topics. Like, I don't know why, but it just really grabs my interest a lot. And humans are curious by nature, and it's just something that I find really interesting. Like, I like horror movies. I like, like thriller books. I like crime podcasts. I love kind of delving into that sort of stuff. There are people that like it and people that don't, and I'm somebody that does, despite what my job is. Like, for reviewing fragrances, it seems very like luxury and superficial compared to that. But yeah. What shoes are you wearing? That's a really interesting question. I am wearing right now in the house my Uggs. I absolutely love my Uggs. I wear them inside though. I don't go outside with them. They're like my indoor shoes. What do you usually eat in a day? That's a great question. So I haven't been super healthy recently, and I feel quite guilty about that because I feel like I have fallen out of my health kick. I know it's very hard. I don't know if you guys can relate to me, but it's really hard to get into the flow of being super healthy. I don't mean restrictive. That's a totally different thing. I mean healthy. For me, it's really hard to like get into it. Once I'm in it and I'm thriving. But if I fall out of it, it's super hard to get back into it. So like for me, a couple of cheat meals can really push me back into like a space of just chaos. But usually what I eat in a day is an avocado toast for breakfast. I love having a piece of toast with avocado on, 2 boiled eggs, lots of spring onions, a lot of olive oil. I love olive oil. It's the love of my life. That's usually what I have for breakfast. For lunch at the moment, I love having a Greek salad. I don't know what it is. Actually, I do know what it is. It's because it's so hot outside in Dubai that Greek salads are so crispy and fresh. And I make a beautiful Greek salad with cucumber, tomato, shallots, olives, feta, olive oil once again, maybe a little bit of avocado if I want, but I don't know. And that's usually it, I think, for the Greek salad. And I just love it. It's crispy, it's fresh, it's cold. And that's what I'm loving right now. And then dinner will usually be some type of protein like chicken, maybe a bolognese. I love bolognese. It's one of the easiest things in the world to make. It is really like a lifesaver, bolognese, because you have protein, you have carb. I love pasta. I absolutely love it so much with all of my heart. And recently I just made a really delicious boeuf bourguignon, which is a French dish, and it's super easy to make, guys. It's like a beef stew, and it was amazing, like so good. And yeah, that's kind of what I eat, more or less, like a nice big meal at the night, kind of a light lunch, and a nice hefty breakfast as well. So I would say that's what I eat. I don't usually snack, and I have 2 coffees as well per day. I don't usually snack because I don't really feel the need for it myself. Like I don't really get hungry in between my meals, but if I do, probably I'll have some strawberries, maybe a little like chocolate ball that I'll make, something like that. Can you make a video talking about your app? Okay, I don't want to talk about it in this video because I would love to do a separate video with Pierre. If you guys want to do a totally separate Q&A about Sniff with Pierre, let me know, because I would love to do that, like talking about how we came up with the app, everything that you guys want to know. Let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I would love to get him on here and do the Q&A with him, just exclusively about Sniff. So let me know if that's something you guys want, because I can definitely do it. Your go-to purse. I think I'm going to leave this as my last question. So a lot of people like in my life think that I have a lot more purses and shoes than I do. And I'm not saying that I don't have a lot, because for the normal person, I probably do have a lot for the normal person, definitely. But when I compare it to like other people and stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm not a big impulsive shopper. Like I'm pretty responsible with my finances. I definitely spend. I am somebody who loves to give gifts to people. I love to spend money on myself. Like I do really enjoy doing that. I am very money comes, money goes. Like that's my mentality. Money comes, money goes. And I still am smart with my money. Like I'm looking into a lot of different investments, opportunities and everything. So I am very smart. I know that. Like, I'm not talking about that right now, but that is my mentality. I don't like to hold on to my money like, oh, I'm going to lose it. I need to save it for this and this and this and da. I don't like to have that mentality when it comes to money. And I don't want people to look at me super ignorant right now, because I was poor at a point in my life. I was 100%. Not growing up, not my childhood, but at one point, I spoke about this actually on my podcast and on TikTok, but at one point, my mum lost her business and we literally had $0 to our name. So we climbed out of that hole. Myself, I had to contribute to our rent, food, petrol, everything. So I don't want people to come for me being like, oh, you're so oblivious and da. No, I'm not. I went through a really bad time with my mum. And it was horrendous. Like we shared the same bed on a mattress on the floor. We slept on the floor on a mattress. The apartment was covered in boxes. It looked just awful. And we had like a sofa that was from the thrift shop. We got a sofa from the thrift shop. We tried to sell all of our stuff for money. Like, we really went through it. So before people tell me like, oh, that's an ignorant way of thinking. No, it's not. I have worked for every single cent that I have. Nobody has given me money. Nobody has given me a step up in my life. If anything, it's been the opposite, and I have contributed to people in my life and given them money out of the money that I've earned, paid off other people's debts, and I have worked my ass off to get where I am today. And I am not greedy with my money at all. I am not greedy. If you guys notice, I don't really do many sponsorships. I of course do sponsorships because I need them at time to time, but not at all for the amount that I get asked to do sponsored videos, sponsored content. I take on like 5% of what I get offered. So I am very careful with how I accept money and how I spend money, if that makes any sense. And I hope that this is all being taken in the right way, guys, because I know money, it's a bit of a difficult topic for a lot of people, including myself, to kind of just talk about because it's very touchy. But yeah, basically, like I said, I try to kind of think of money like I don't want it to be this thing that I'm scared of not having anymore, because I do have that fear inside of me. So I try to kind of be a little bit more carefree, but not in a way where it's irresponsible. Never in my life do I want to have debt. Never in my life do I want to have this kind of struggling feeling around money again, because it was really terrible, you guys, like absolutely terrible. And yeah, anyways, let's close off that conversation about money. Oh my gosh, how did I get on a tangent about money? Go-to purses. Okay, I went off on a massive tangent right now. I cannot believe that. This video is going to be so long. So my favorite purse, I'm going to try to put maybe a photo on the screen, is a tote bag from a brand called Forêt Le Page. It's a French brand. They actually have a boutique next to the Chanel boutique on Rue Cambon and in Paris, and they have a boutique on that street. And this brand I absolutely adore. For me, it's like the better brand to Goya. I actually wanted to buy a Goya bag in Milan like 3 years ago. And you guys, when I saw the quality of the bag, I verbally gasped. Like it looked like it just came from, I'm not even going to say, because I don't want it to sound rude or insulting. I don't mean it like that, but it looked like it just looked so cheap. It looked like it came out of the trunk of somebody's car in its plastic. Like, it was shocking, like absolutely shocking. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, no, I cannot spend that much money on a purse like that. Like, no way. So I found a brand that I think is even more beautiful, better quality. The brand history is absolutely beautiful. It's called Forêt Le Page. And I just have one tote bag from them, and I bought Pierre 2 like little kind of pouches from them, and he loves them. And I fell in love with the brand after that. And even now, Pierre's dad loves the brand. He bought a bunch of stuff from them. And I love the brand. I think it's gorgeous. And they have this beautiful, very distinctive pattern, very similar to Goya, but actually Forêt Le Page was established even earlier than Goya. And that's what I love the most right now. And I also love my Fendi peekaboo. I have one peekaboo that I bought last year in Paris with the D-tax, because it's better. If you guys don't know this, it's way better to shop in Europe. Don't shop in Dubai. Don't come here and buy a bunch of things. It's way more expensive here than it is in any country in Europe. Go to Europe. Go to France especially, and Italy, buy the product and get the tax return at the airport. It is amazing. You save so much money. So that's what I try to do. I try, if I'm going to buy anything big, like at the moment, there's a watch that I would love to buy, but there is no way that I'm going to pay the price in the currency that is here in Dubai, dirhams. There's no way. It's too expensive. I'm going to wait till I go to Europe and try to find a good deal on the watch and get the D-tax as well. So don't shop here. Don't shop anywhere else, shop in Europe. That's my biggest piece of advice. And my favorite purse, it's the Forêt Le Page. And yeah, I would say second to that, maybe my Fendi peekaboo. And I love it so much. It's in this beautiful burgundy color. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. And yeah, I would say those are my two favorite bags right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry that it was so long. I went off on many, many different tangents. So I hope that you guys didn't lose track at some point. I hope that you enjoyed it. I will talk to you guys soon, and let me know if you want me to do a separate Q&A about Sniff with Pierre, because I think it would be really fun. I love you guys, and talk to you soon. Bye.